I'm currently running this test on a Shopify store with Intelligems, and as you can see, it's doing pretty well. And the crazy thing is I changed only one word. You heard me right, just one word. And so we're getting plus 25% increase in conversion rate from Australian visitors. And I wanted to make this video to explain to you that if your website is looking the same for all English-speaking countries, depending on the product that you're selling, you may be leaving a lot of money on the table. So in this video, I want to show you why a single word can make such a big difference, which words can have this impact, and lastly, how to run personalization without redesigning your entire store. Here's the problem. As your brand grows, you're focused on acquisition, retention, and product market fit. And at some point you realize that your website needs to convert better if you want to stay profitable with ads and competitive. And one thing that almost always improves conversion is making your website feel more personal and more tailored to each visitor. So let's say that your traffic, for example, is 50% US, 30% UK, 20% Australia, and you got started selling to the American market and then you expanded worldwide. This means that half of your audience is not American, but yet your website has been tailored, especially the copywriting, for those American customers. But now you have 50% of them who are not in the US. And so you need to make sure that those segments have proper wording, especially if your product is spelled differently in those countries compared to the US. Here's the fun part. With Shopify templates inside of the team editor and with Intelligems A/B test segmentation, you can now create complete tailored experience without creating a whole new site. And you don't even need to rewrite everything, like all the copywriting. Sometimes just one keyword can make a big difference, especially if that word is core to your product, or if it's the product in itself, or if it's the main category. And it's actually what I did for my test. The store is a mono product, the store of the test that I ran. And I basically swapped the US spelling of the product to the UK and Australian version, which is the same. And basically that's it. I just targeted Australia and the UK, which I'm going to show you in a minute inside of Intelligems. But just for confidentiality reason and to protect my client's data, I cannot tell you which brand it is, but I will definitely show you the results. This is the trend since I launched the test on Monday. And as you can see, the new group has consistently been beating the control. And just for context, what I changed was the word on the homepage hero section copy, the collection page copy, and the product page copy. And that's basically it. It's just like one word that I changed on all those pages. And I expected to see something similar in the UK and Australia, but it turned out that for this product specifically, the Australian market is reacting better to the change of the wording than in the UK. Like if we check the UK, we have almost the same amount of orders, almost the same revenue, and there is no clear increase in revenue per visitor or average order value. So we're pretty much at the same conversion rate, revenue per visitor, and AOV. However, if we look at Australia, we have a plus 26% increase in conversion rate, like a drastic increase. As you can see, with 13,000 visitors per variant, we already have a gap between the two of 50 orders, which is quite a lot in the early phase of a test like this. The psychological reason why it's converting at plus 25 to 26% conversion rate in Australia is actually pretty simple. It's just because we all gravitate toward things that feel familiar. And my guess here is that maybe in the UK, the American term is a lot more familiar than for Australians. And so when I changed the spelling of the product, the main keyword of the brand, Australians responded better to this change than British, who are maybe more accustomed to it. And so this also highlights the differences you can have between one country and another, and also the importance of running personalization tests, because even if it's the same language, spelling and terminology really matter. Here are a few examples of products that are spelled differently in the US and in the UK. And if any of those products is your main product or your main collection and you're selling in different markets, then it's probably worth testing. I will actually show you a real example of personalization that a brand is doing for the first keyword, sneakers and trainers in the UK. I haven't checked for all of them, but this is just to give you an idea, an example, and they are there are many different words that are, different from the US and the UK. Like for example, in Europe we say football, in the US you say soccer, in the US you say zucchini, in the UK they say I think courgette, which is taken from the French, taken from us. But let's see a real example. Here we've got Allbirds. It's exactly the same website. I just put US here, and here I put UK. So when you go in at the bottom, you click on the flag, and then you have the website adapting to your market. And here, as you can see, if I click on men, which is the same thing I did here, and I click on shoes, and even here, like we see bestseller, when here we've got white sneaks. And in the UK, people don't say sneakers, they say trainers. And so let's see here, it's the same website, but the navigation menu looks differently. This is a personalization. As you can see, we have sneakers, and here we have trainers. And this is a very simple example of how you can run personalization on some keywords that, are highly relevant or highly important for your brand. And so if we come back here, in the US, they say pacifier, when in the UK it's dummy, and you have the breakdown of all the other products. So again, just like I said, if any of those products is your main product or your main collection, and you are saying in the US and in the UK, then you may want to run a personalization for this. Of course, do not implement directly, but split test first and see if the market is reacting. And maybe it will not react in the UK, but maybe it will in Australia, just like I showed you on my test. So it's definitely something you should try. All right, where to go from there? Once you find that word that moves the needle and you have a positive test, then you want to double down on it. The first thing I would say that you should do is update your entire template accordingly. Like for example, for my test, I am waiting to collect a bit more data, but the trend has been very consistent since the beginning, so I'm guessing it will remain the same. And I only changed the word in a few locations on the website, but I think we can now adapt the entire template for Australia with the keyword spelled in the Australian way everywhere on the website. And for the UK, we'll just keep the same template as the US. So this is the first thing you should do from the moment you're getting positive test results. After this, what you want to do is, based on the data you collected, that this word is performing better, like 25% better with a segment, then you want to adapt your ads and you want to adapt your emails, your flows for this specific segment. Tiny change, massive upsides. In 2025, the e-commerce world is highly competitive, and if you want to thrive, you need to adapt and provide the most personalized experience to your website visitors. So if you think this was helpful and you want to learn more about Zero and some A/B testing tips, then subscribe to the channel. And if you're a UK or Aussie shopper, let me know in the comments if there are any other product that you spell differently from Americans. Cheers.